Evening, everyone. Welcome to the first Terry Virtual Talent Show. We're so excited to have you. I'm Amber Masso. I'm the Director of Communications and Alumni Engagement for the Terry Foundation.
And I am Blane Skiles. I am a producer with NDCLX, and I'm excited to be here.
And we're so excited to have some awesome Terry alumni with us this evening. We'll let y'all go around and introduce yourselves. Maybe we'll have you go in the order that you'll be performing tonight. Except for Luis, because I don't see him right now. So we'll skip. Okay, there you are. Hey, Luis.
I am here. Hi, my name is Banuelos. I'm in my backyard, so we have a nice, friendly dog over there barking, but happy to be here. Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. Thanks, Luis.
Caroline.
Oh, am I after? Okay. Hello, my name is Caroline Beal, and this is my husband, Henry Beal. I am a UNT Terry Scholar alumni from 2015, and we live out here in Los Angeles, which is super fun. And I am a choir director, singer. I sing in a barbershop quartet that I really love, and we are so happy to be sharing some music with you from quarantine.
Yay.
Awesome. Welcome.
Hey, everybody. My name is Ryan Padilla. I'm a UNT 2015 traditional Terry Scholar. I currently live in Carrollton, Texas, and I release music under the artist name Little King. So if you've seen anything that I put out, that's usually what it's under. But yeah, I'm so excited. This is such a cool idea. Thank you to the Terry Foundation for letting me be a part of this.
Great. We're happy to have you.
Hi, I'm Nash Turbeville. I'm a UNT Terry alumni from, oh goodness, I think it was 2017. It was a process. 2017, I think, is when I graduated with the first degree. Yeah, I got my degree in music education. I'm currently a gigging piano bar type-ish player. I play at the Mercury Chop House in Fort Worth and in Arlington. So whenever all this quarantine stuff settles down, come on by and tell me your favorite songs. I'll try and learn them for you. But I'm so happy that Blane asked me to be a part of this because, I mean, all the other musicians I'm sure will attest, you get the itch to perform and share music with people, and this quarantine kind of takes it away. So I'm really happy to be a part of this. I'm very thankful.
Thanks so much. Well, I think now it's more important than ever for people to have things like music and art and just whatever they find is a comfort and a way to center themselves, just with all of the, with all the craziness that's going on. So I appreciate y'all sharing your talent and your passion with the Terry community this evening.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I want to echo that too, Amber. I mean, I think that whenever this is just such a crazy time, and that's really why this whole idea came about, is that we're so disconnected right now in so many ways, but we're also even more connected through technology than ever before. But the through line and the thread of connectivity and community to me is always art. And so, what better way to showcase the Terry community than by allowing Terry Scholars to showcase their talents and their art. And I'm really excited for what these great performers are going to do for us tonight.
All right, great. So I guess why don't we go ahead and get started with our evening. So just so everyone knows, the performers are going to take turns playing a couple of songs each. And then we're going to have Luis doing a live painting throughout the stream. So you'll be able to see it go from start to finish, and then we'll hear from him at the end, just what he's put together for us. So again, thanks so much, you guys, for joining us this evening. And we'll let the other artists take a break for just a moment. And Blane and I will get started with Luis.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank y'all.
Well, it sounds like the dog's cooperating now, so that's good.
So Luis, so I know you said that you're a Texas A&M Terry Scholar. Are you coming to us from College Station? I think that's what you said earlier.
That's right. Yeah, here in College Station, working for Baylor Scott and White. It's been good so far, and so excited to get to paint with y'all tonight.
Yeah,
That's
but
awesome.
before you get started, I just wanted to kind of get an idea of what it's like for you coming from the medical profession. I know that every industry and every job is affected by this, but probably none so more than the medical profession. So, I mean, just like, what is this like? You said you're on the public health side of things. So, I mean, what is this like? This is a public health crisis.
Yeah, very true. We're definitely seeing a lot more just work being done, I think, to try to take care of COVID patients as well as we can. And we've really seen every department in our hospital really come together. I work more with the education side, so I do get to tie in that public health aspect to it. And, you know, I'm thankful to report that we are doing better as a community here in College Station. So our patient counts are looking, you know, more manageable overall. And it's definitely a learning experience for everyone, but I think one that we're doing well with.
So, being a healthcare professional, where does art come into your life? I mean, you're going to be painting for us tonight. So how long have you been painting, and how do you keep this a part of your life, even though you aren't doing it, you know, every day?
Right. I guess I've always liked drawing and painting since I was a kid. And what we're going to do today, spray painting, is something I didn't really discover till probably midway through college. There used to be a graffiti park in Austin. So the first time I went out there, I tried painting the century tree, one of the iconic things there at Texas A&M. And from there, it just kind of grew into just a little bit more each time. And so I've gotten a little bit better with it every painting that I make. And I don't get to do it as much these days, and especially not under quarantine, but it's still a lot of fun to get to do. So this is an awesome way to carry out that today.
And you have some of your art in a few places around College Station, don't you?
That's right. I did have a couple. There was or two murals actually at the corner bar on Northgate. And most of them were done at the graffiti park. And then I've done a couple for people in their homes and things like that.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, I guess we'll let you get started. You are under a time crunch. I guess it's going to be excited to see what you're able to accomplish in the time that you have.
Well, thanks so much. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Right.
So I guess, well, before we get Caroline on, I did a bad job of introducing myself earlier. I just said my job title and not where I'm from, like where I went to school. But I'm Blane Skiles, a 2012 Terry Scholar from the University of North Texas. I majored in broadcast journalism when I was there, and now I'm a journalist. Based in Dallas. I'm actually coming to y'all tonight from the Shreveport, Louisiana area, which is my former home. And that's where I'm holed up during this crazy time. So working from home, I've been working from home for more than a month now, and I feel like I'm going crazy. So this is a really welcome break from all of the just like monotony of the day of like sitting at the dining room table and working. I'm sure everybody can relate to that.
Right. Well, I was going to say, just for some perspective for everybody, Blane is on our alumni advisory board, and we have a subcommittee on the advisory board that has been discussing how Terry Connect and just the Terry community in general can be supportive of each other. And this was, you know, one of the suggestions that Blane actually made. And so we're excited to be trying it out for the first time tonight, but I hope that we can figure out some way to do this regularly, because we have so many talented people across the network. And it's not just people that are majoring, you know, in the fine arts, you know, fields or in music education. And so a lot of our scholars don't get exposed to what's happening on the other campuses or like the other, just the other talented Terrys there are out there. So I hope this sparks a little something that we're able to keep going even beyond quarantine. But I think you were totally right whenever you brought this up to the advisory board committee, because this is what people need right now, I think, too. Like a nice distraction, but also just a nice way to appreciate just this community you're a part of and the talent that exists within it. I'm super excited for everybody to see the performers we have this evening.
Yeah, my hope is that everybody watching is like on their couch, in their PJs, Saturday night, like relaxing, because it's like perfect opportunity with this great music that we have for people to do that.
Right. I was actually worried that I was going to be doing this with a storm going on outside, but Houston changed its mind mid-afternoon. So,
not Houston changing its mind on weather, right?
Okay, cool. Well, do we want to go ahead and get Caroline on?
Yes, I can't wait.
Hello, everyone.
There she is, Caroline.
Hello.
Well, Caroline, we go way back, right?
Last time I saw you was my wedding.
I know it seems like it was forever ago. It was a great time. Really enjoyed your wedding, by the way. It was beautiful. And you're here. Speaking of wedding, introduce your spouse.
Yes, this is my husband, Henry. I asked him kind of last minute to join me just because I thought it'd be fun. But he's also a UNT alumni from, you graduated 2017?
Yeah, that's right.
With a degree in jazz performance. He played in the 1 o'clock lab band. So yeah, we both love UNT.
Yeah. For the people that are watching that aren't UNT people, the 1 o'clock lab band is like a huge deal. That's like the main jazz band at UNT.
It is very prestigious group, hard to get in.
It was an amazing experience getting to do it. I mean, we got to travel to like Monterey, and we did like the Arts and Jazz Festival, a bunch of performance opportunities. Like at a college, it's like great to have that experience. So I'm very lucky.
Caroline, I'm interested to kind of hear your brief story on your journey in music. I don't know if I've ever like really heard it before, but how did you get started? I know you have music in the family.
Yeah, so I grew up, actually my mom and dad and family are watching right now, so hi.
Hi, family.
Hi,
So I grew up in a musical family. My dad is a composer, arranger, pianist, organist, singer, conductor, like he does everything. He's amazing. And my mom sings as well. And my brother and I just kind of grew up in this culture where music was just something that we did to connect together. And so I always think of that scene from the movie Step Brothers where like the whole family singing in the car. That's kind of like actually how my family is. So yeah, it was just something that I grew up doing. And I sang in choir and played cello pretty much all up until college, where I decided to pursue a degree in music education. And that's where I met Nash too. So I actually loved the Terry Scholarship program, and I loved that we were all people from different like backgrounds, different majors, because in the music world, it's easy to just be stuck in your like music bubble. So I loved the fact that I got to spend time with people with different interests, and it was great.
Well, and I'll say as a non-music major, I agree, because I was exposed to so many talented musicians, just like you and Nash and others. I mean, it was amazing to like be in the dorm room and like hearing people play the piano that was like set up under their bunk bed, and just like being around people. I have no musicians in the family, so that was a really great experience to just like be exposed to that.
Yeah, well, and we learn so much from each other. Like, it really creates kind of this culture of learning from each other and exchanging ideas. And, you know, I grew as a musician just by being exposed to all these different people. So it was really great. But since then, I've been teaching. I taught middle school choir and high school choir now. But I'm actually hoping to return to UNT in 2021 to get my master's in counseling, so in school counseling. So again, like my life has kind of been going like this, but I just love the Terry Scholarship Foundation has really supported me in that whole journey. Like, I can't say it enough. Like, I think all of us are just always so grateful and thankful, and that's really something that can't be overstated.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I'm still obviously going to be singing and performing with my groups forever. Music is life.
So what has it been like for you since quarantine and everything started in terms of, you know, being an educator?
Well, yeah, so we've been doing distance learning since March, especially being in California and LA specifically. It's been a hot spot. So we were really quick to shut down school. But my district is awesome. Like, we've been working to get every kid a laptop, every kid to get the resources they need. So we've been doing distance learning for about 8 weeks. And, you know, it's really tough. I'm not gonna lie. I really miss my kids. I can't see them in person, and it's a time where we want to be connected to each other. I think this is a great job. Like, I can't even imagine not having Zoom or FaceTime or anything. So I enjoy seeing them via, Google Meet or Zoom, but it's tough, and they're really working hard and doing their best. Kind of, my seniors who aren't getting a prom, they're not getting, a graduation really. So it's tough. And I think as educators, we're all just doing our best to provide enrichment and support, and, kind of mimic the classroom experience as much as possible. But yeah, teachers are amazing. I can't imagine like all the things that they're coming up with for digital learning. So it's really cool.
Well, I guess we need some music. Unless you had something, Amber.
I was going to say, one of the things I think that'd be fun for us to try to do while the other artists are on is, what do you guys think Luis is painting back there?
Oh yeah, that's a good.
I kind of got distracted while I was talking. I was like, because it obviously started off as the Texas flag. Mm-hmm. And then now I thought he was maybe doing some mountains on the bottom.
It was like a sunset.
Yeah, it looks like a sunset to me, but.
Yeah, so I was definitely, I don't know, maybe while I'm singing, I'll be like.
Right. I agree though. We got I think it looks like a darkened landscape and then something going on with the sky. So, okay. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see that develop and just kind of like where everybody's brain is at in terms of what they're seeing.
Yes, and how it will evolve.
Right.
Yeah. So why don't y'all do your first song and then we'll chat some more, and I'm excited. All right.
All right.
So this first song is a tune called East of the Sun, and it's kind of a love song, which is why I chose it, because I get to perform with my lovely husband. But this particular arrangement is done by Kristen Korb, and it's would normally have piano, drum set, bass, but in quarantine, we obviously don't have all of those things. Yeah. So today's performance will just be my voice and my lovely husband on bass. Hope you enjoy East of the Sun.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
East of the sun, west of the moon, we'll build a dream house of love deep, near the sun by day and the moon at night.
Thanks, everybody.
That was awesome.
Yay.
I'm imagining everybody watching right now applauding in their seats.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was so good, Caroline. I wanted to ask, I was thinking about this when you were singing. What's like your evolution of music been like from, like, let's just say like when you started at UNT and like the way that you perform now? How is that different than when you started, which is 10 years? Can you believe it?
Yeah, so the short answer to that question, I think as artists, we're always constantly self-evaluating, and we're very aware of why we're performing music and how that shapes like how we perform music. And I actually, when I started at UNT, I would say that a lot of my value was placed on how good I thought I was. So if I had a good performance, I was like, I'm great. And if I had a bad performance, I was like, I'm the worst. And so that's something as art, well, I think people in general have to kind of work through, being able to be like self-critical and change and listen to critique and stuff. So I actually had a vocal injury in college where I lost my voice, like half my voice. You probably remember.
Mhm.
And so I really had to ask myself the question of like, who am I without my voice? Who am I apart from who I am as a singer? And that was really tough. And I would say that those 3 or 4 years of healing have really shaped kind of who I am now, because before when I was performing, I felt like I had a lot of ego in it, and now when I perform, it comes from a place of gratitude and like connection, which is, you know, something that has taken many years. Like now if I make a mistake, I'm like, meh. But before when I made a mistake, I was like, oh, you know? So I think that has really, that, you know, a short answer to your question is like that over the past 10 years of just kind of moved from being a performer who I feel like I'm able to express myself better because I'm not held back by being worried about, am I going to make a mistake? And let's be real, I still worry about making mistakes, obviously. Like, I kind of made a mistake in the last song. But, you know.
Couldn't tell.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, to kind of answer your question.
I think that that's incredible, and I think that that is applicable to more than just art and music and performing. It's applicable to anything that you do that you are passionate about, or that you feel like you're being vulnerable and like putting yourself out there. I mean, everybody, you know, feels that way in different parts of their lives, and I think that that's amazing. Before you sing your next song, I wanted to ask, because I know that you perform barbershop a lot, and that's like a huge part of your musicianship. So how has tell us a little bit about barbershop, because I mean a lot of people still think that it's like the old guys in the pinch in the candy stripe whatever. So tell us a little bit about that and how that's influenced your just overall like thoughts towards music and performing.
Yeah, so barbershop is music performed a cappella, so without instruments. Usually, not
I'm
usually,
not
always.
No
Yeah,
bass.
no bass. No bass. But it's usually 4 people singing in a close 4-part harmony. So all that means is that the harmony is very close and not widespread. So you usually don't have, like in my group is all 4 women. So you know, we don't have a super low bass, but we just have the range of a female. And the music tradition started with kind of these folk songs. So if you think of the movie The Music Man, and you think of like Light a Rose, I'm home again, Rose, that's kind of what people think of. But now the art form has kind of really evolved to include like pop music, music on Broadway, jazz, which is really cool that it's evolved to include all types of genres. So the group I sing with is called the Ladies Quartet. 3 of us went to UNT, and we perform all over the country. We were actually supposed to be in Germany 2 weeks ago. Obviously, because of the global pandemic, we stayed at home, which is good, very safe. But we've gotten to go to New Zealand, Germany, which is great because you get to meet singers from all over the world in this international organization we're part of. I would say that it has shaped me, well, a lot, obviously, because they're my best friends. So I get to sing with people that I love, which is incredible. But it's really forced me to, again, be kind of let go of perfection, and we like go out there, we perform, you know, you only get once. So you perform, and I really learned to just focus on the connection with the audience, focus on being entertaining, and letting go of any mistakes, and being an example of doing that so that other people can feel free to also be messy. So it's been really, really wonderful. I think 4 years with them, maybe. We've been together about 4 years. And then before that, I was in a group called Sincerity, which Blane remembers. Blane actually made our logo.
Oh, seriously?
Which is cool.
I did, yeah. On my iPad, I think.
The girl from that group sings in this group I'm in now.
I think she might be watching. I think Kim's watching.
Is she really?
If Kim's watching, hi Kim.
Hi, Kim!
And y'all have been really successful, and I know that we want to get back to music, but I just have to say, y'all have done amazing things as the ladies as part of that quartet. I mean, y'all have award-winning, like top of the barbershop world basically for female quartets. And so if y'all are watching and you want to if you're interested in the world of barbershop, it's really fascinating, and I enjoy watching their videos, and so give them a follow on Facebook and keep up with them, and you can see some videos of them performing.
Yeah, what are y'all's social media handles, by the way?
For Instagram, it is at the ladies QT. And then our Facebook page is the Ladies Quartet. And we're actually working on a CD this summer. So that's kind of been our project, is putting together our first CD. So hopefully that will be available to purchase soon. And yeah, hope you enjoy our videos that are out there. There's also, if you search YouTube, just like barbershop quartets, like Vocal Spectrum, Newfangled 4, GQ, Class Ring are some names. It's a really cool world that I think a lot of people don't know exists yet, but it's opening up and people are discovering. So yeah.
That's awesome. And I love the lessons you're trying to teach with your music too, and just your approach to performing. So this is great.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to talk about, and I love that Blane mentioned vulnerability earlier, because singing is like the most vulnerable thing I think most people could do. And so it's hard, but like Brene Brown is I am obsessed with her.
Yeah, love her.
Great. Yeah, I'm always like, but vulnerability is the birthplace of connection. But yeah, so she's really influenced like a lot of my musical choices, and I think that's probably why I'm going the counseling route, because I'm really, interested in how music and psychology work together, and how the emotional and mental challenges kind of affect how we sing and what we do. So yeah.
That's amazing. Well, we definitely look forward to following that journey of yours too.
Thank you. And again, like, I'm so excited to be back in the Terry Foundation ring. Not that I ever left, but I moved away from Texas, and so it's, you can't really go to all the stuff as easily. So
that's one of the things that we've really been hoping to work on the last couple of years with things like Terry Connect, and just changing the way that we do our spotlights, because once you're a Terry, you're always a Terry, no matter where you go. And we have scholars all over the place that really want to honor that pledge to give back. And so, you know, we would be doing a disservice if we weren't trying to provide more opportunities that didn't have anything to do with geography. So thank goodness for technology. And yeah, I mean, anytime you'd like to do another stream or, you know, like to help us put together a spotlight on you and your work for the website, definitely, if you're on Terry Connect, you know, making yourself available as just a connection for people that have questions, either about what you do in your personal life or what you're doing, you know, as an educator. I just think you have a really great message for the students overall. But this is just a reminder to all of the scholars out there that, like, there are alumni that are literally waiting to hear from you. Like, they're waiting to give back. Maybe they can't come to picnic, maybe they can't come to banquet, but they're here for you. So, and Caroline's just a perfect example.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. If anyone wants to reach out to any of us, I'm sure, about any song we've done or wants to just talk, we're totally available.
Awesome. All right, well, I can't wait to hear y'all's second song.
Yes.
Me either. Let's get on that piano.
Yeah. So the second song we're doing, I just watched The Greatest Showman for the first time like 3 days ago, which I know bad on me because everyone was saying it's amazing, and
We put it off for a while.
I don't know why, it just kept like things. Animal Crossing came out, like there's just so many things that happened. So we finally watched it, and I heard this song A Million Dreams. I was really inspired to learn it and play it for you all, so I hope you enjoy. This is A Million Dreams from The Greatest Showman.
Right. Technical setup real quick. Make sure it's gonna happen. Yeah.
Oh, I've got light.
We have some natural light
Great.
from the, yeah, that's something.
You ready?
Yes.
Close my eyes, I can see the world that's waiting for me. They call my own. Through the door, through where no one's been before. It feels like home. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say it what's my mind. Oh, I don't care so crazy. We could live in a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams that keep me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. There's a house we can build. Every room inside is filled with things from far away. The special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we won't start worries. Oh, I don't care if they call us crazy. Run away to a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams
That was awesome.
Thank
That
you,
was so good.
guys. Oh, sorry.
It was amazing. I love the soundtrack to that movie too.
It's great.
It has been nonstop playing in my head. Yes, it's beautiful. And the message is like so good too.
Well, I remember seeing some behind the scenes footage where they had, I think it was Keala Settle, the woman who sings, or she plays the bearded lady, and she sings like, I guess like the Hallmark song from that soundtrack, and talked about how terrified she was of her solo, like for somebody, you know, to be so talented, to be scared of singing in front of her peers. So there's actually a really touching like YouTube video of her when they're sort of pitching it to the studio and they're all performing as an ensemble, and Hugh Jackman's like sitting off to the side, like tearing up because of how well she's doing, and just at the same time how vulnerable she is because she starts crying because she's scared during the performance. But it's awesome.
Crazy because she's
Right. At the
phenomenal.
highest level, like no matter how talented you think somebody is, like everybody has these human like moments where we're like,
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, Caroline, I am so glad that you were available to do this, and thank you for sharing with everybody. Before you leave, I just want to give another opportunity for you, because what you were saying earlier was so meaningful and I think so impactful, and I know some people might have come on after that, and so I just want to ask, like, if you could give any advice to some people who are studying music education or who are musicians who are in college right now, who are just now coming out of college. What is that advice that you have for them?
Ooh, I would say the biggest piece of advice I could give someone that's studying music or studying to be a teacher is to have so much grace for yourself, and know that you are doing your best. It's so stressful. College is so stressful. Performing is insanely stressful. And I think that just having grace for yourself, embracing your mistakes, knowing that the literal only way to grow is to fail and to learn from things that you don't like or are doing wrong. I don't even like the word mistakes, but I've used it like 20 times tonight. But that's the only way that we grow. And so, really just be patient with yourself. Anytime you're feeling burnt out or feeling overwhelmed, like go back to your favorite songs, like, go to a practice room and play things that inspire you, or listen to music that brings you back to your why. And, just really take that time to take care of yourself and know that it is really hard and you're doing your best. Most of the time, you probably are doing your best. So have lots of grace for yourself and stay connected to your friends. You're a Terry, well, I'm sure you are a Terry. Really lean on those people because they will stay. I mean, Blane has like been in my life forever now, and it's been, I don't know how long after college, but he came to my wedding, and I still talk to a lot of my Terry friends. So lean on them and lean on them for support, and reach out to alumni who've been there. You can reach out to me or Blane or Nash or anyone, and they will always be happy to help you and talk to you about anything. That's for sure. Thing I know.
Yeah. Well, thanks again. I mean, I can't tell you how much it fills my heart to see your face. And I mean, that's like what I love about the Terry Foundation, is that like people like you and like our friendship and our relationship, it's just so great. And I'm so excited that I got to hear you sing. I miss y'all, and I really hope that y'all are staying safe and healthy and sane during this crazy time of the world. It's unlike anything we've ever experienced before, but I'm glad that we have people like you who can share their art with the world and make us all feel a little better.
Thank you
Your
for
art and your message, yeah.
Oh, sorry, I had some lag. Thank you. And thank you for putting this together and creating this opportunity for us all to connect. We've really enjoyed it.
yeah, thanks
so.
so much for having us on. It was a
Yeah.
blast.
Yeah.
And thank you both for joining us. And Henry, you're part of the Terry family now too, though. So it was so nice to meet you.
I'm gonna have to take him to a picnic. He needs
Yeah.
to. They're awesome. Yeah, that's cool.
All
right,
right. Well, y'all have a wonderful evening. Thank you again for joining us. Bye.
Okay, and there's our next performer's already here. Look at
Hey
that.
everybody, how's
Hey,
it going?
Ryan.
It's good, Ryan. Why don't you just tell us a little bit more about yourself? I know that you told us earlier that you are in the Dallas area. You do music under the performer name Little King. So tell us a little bit more about the music that you do, the type of music. And I know that you have an album that you've already released. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I started Little King in 2018, released an album called So This Is How Things Are Now. I grew up around music, grew up writing music, playing music in church and stuff. And when I went to college, I took a couple years off and I was just writing a lot. And um, it was kind of a waiting season for me. And I didn't know what was going to be next for me as far as music goes. Um, but I knew I always wanted to be making music, you know, and creating things. Uh, and, and kind of this album, So This Is How Things Are Now, came together really naturally. And I called the artist Little King because Little King actually, my name Ryan actually means Little King, translated. So that's kind of the background behind that. And yeah, I've grown up doing music. I'm still involved in church. I'm a worship leader at my church. There's a campus in Decatur, Texas, and another campus in Fort Worth. I lead the team at the Fort Worth campus. But yeah, I live in Carrollton and do a lot of different music production, co-writing on different people's stuff, and stuff like that. Try to keep myself busy with just anything and everything music.
That's awesome. Ryan, I remember sitting at your table at banquet. You were probably a sophomore. I don't think it was your freshman year because I remember us having some freshmen at the table,
Mm-hmm.
and you were kind of talking to them about how you've been trying to balance your passion for music with what I think was your business classes at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember you talking about wanting to make sure that you keep music in your life and wondering if you weren't focusing on it enough while you
Mm-hmm.
were in college. And I know that we had, I think she was a junior or senior at the time, who was sitting at our table, and she was a vocal performance major. And she said, I think that if that's really something that you're passionate about, you need to make sure that you can, intertwine it with whatever it is you're doing. You don't have to just, completely be immersed in the focus on business. And I remember thinking, like,
Yeah.
he lights up when he talks about it. And we're sitting at this like awkward dinner situation where like none of you guys knew me, and probably had just, met each other recently, especially the freshmen, but you lit
Yeah.
up when you talked about it. So then fast forward, I remember when Franco sent me a message at work, like, hey, one of our UNT Terrys is going to be like performing live, and look, he's releasing an album, and shared the link. And I was like, oh my God, it's Ryan.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it was just really cool. We're so immensely proud of you, but I reflected back to that moment when I was like, I wonder whatever happened to that student who was so concerned about not being able to find some way to balance the business and the music stuff. And so happy to
Yeah.
see that you are.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's such a sweet memory. Gosh, we're all on such a crazy journey, aren't we? And yeah, there was definitely a time because I was a marketing major for my undergrad. And but I always knew from a very young age that I wanted to do music for the rest of my life, you know. Um, and I'm absolutely glad that I went into marketing. I think it taught me great business knowledge, and it gave me connections that I wouldn't have any other way. But music is definitely something that grounds me. It's something that I feel alive when I'm doing it, and yeah, I definitely went through that. But to come out on the other side and be doing music full time with a lot of different people in my life that I never would have met other than through the Terry Foundation, through UNT. It's incredible to look back on it all and just be really thankful. I'm so thankful for everybody in my life, for the Terry Foundation, the opportunities that came because of your generosity. And now the connections that I get to make and get to spread with other people, because there's so many incredible people out there with a story to tell. And that's, I think, my favorite part of music is the storytelling aspect of songwriting,
Well, before you do your first song, we got a glance. I know people have probably been keeping an eye on Luis down or over there and wherever he is on your screen.
Yeah.
He's like made so much progress. It's awesome. It's looking really good. So we can keep watching him while you do your first song.
Yeah, it looks like, is that a house? And like the detail is
It's
really
incredible.
awesome.
It's amazing. There's like, I see like a bridge and maybe power lines or an oil rig or something. I'm excited to see it up close.
Oh my
There
gosh.
was one point when he was blending the colors where it almost looked like chalk too. Whenever he was kind of like layering the darker and lighter colors together, it was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. I have no talent as far as that goes, but I can play guitar and sing. So
Well, let's hear it. Prove it. Can't wait.
yeah, absolutely. So the first song I'm going to sing is off of the album. Actually, both songs I'm going to sing are both off the album I released a couple years ago called "So This Is How Things Are Now." The first song is called "Together." It's a love song, and again, all of these songs are available wherever you listen to music: Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes. If you just look up Little King or the album "So This Is How Things Are Now," or you can also go to littlekingmusic.com. That has all the social media handles as well as a merch store and different ways you can support. I appreciate everybody who even takes the time to listen to one song. But I'll go ahead and stop talking and play a song. This is a song called "Together." Hope you enjoy it. 1, 2, 3. Let's watch the fire go out. Lay with me here. Lay with me now. We have these scars on our skin to show where we are, to show where we've been. And as long as we're both trying to figure this thing out, we might as well be doing it together. And as long as we're both lost and hoping to be found, we might as well be lost and found together. Oh, darling, love of mine, sing loud and hold on tight. Let's take this world down together. Rain falls and darkness moves in, but darling, don't run. Stay with me instead. See though our sails are torn, we'll face down our fears. We'll weather the storms, oh, and as long as we're both trying to figure this thing out, we might as well be doing it together. And as long as we're both lost and hoping to be found, we might as well be lost and found together. Oh, darling, love of mine, oh, sing loud and hold on tight. Let's take this world down together. Together. rest of my days. There's no hesitation, I promise you will be okay. I've decided that I'm gonna love you for the rest of my days. Oh, there's no hesitation, I promise you will be okay. I've decided that I'm gonna love you for the rest of my days. Oh, there's no hesitation, I promise you will be okay. Oh, as long as we're both trying to figure this thing out, we might as well be doing it together, you and me. As long as we're both lost and hoping to be found, we might as well be lost and found together. And as long as we're both trying to figure this thing out, we might as well be doing it together, you and me. As long as we're both lost and hoping to be found, we might as well be lost and found together. Darling, love of mine, oh, sing loud and hold on tight. Let's take this world down together. That's it.
That was awesome.
That was so
thank
good.
you. Thanks so much.
I love how you just say that's it. So casual.
and that's that.
I just poured my heart and soul out to y'all, and that's it. But that actually brings me to a question that I wanted to ask, because a lot of the songs that I've heard from you that you have written and performed seem so personal and seem like so raw and authentic. And I just wanted to know if you would feel comfortable sharing like where you take a lot of the inspiration from when you're going through the songwriting process.
Yeah, absolutely. Songwriting is a journey that I'm no expert on, and gosh, I'm definitely still figuring it out. But I take inspiration from lots of things. A lot of my ideas, songwriting is kind of in a way, it's a coping mechanism for me. I use it to kind of ask questions about things I don't understand, or try to figure out the world around me. And so that's why in my songwriting process, I try to be vulnerable. I try to be truthful about what I'm feeling and what I want to express. And yeah, that's definitely been a learning process, because it's very hard to be open and truthful. As Caroline was saying earlier, this is being an artist, like laying yourself out on the line is such a hard thing to do, and it feels like it can be a lot of pressure. But I think that's the key. I would say to anybody who's wanting to work on songwriting or any form of artistry, is be honest with yourself, and people will connect with that. That's what people are wanting out of artists nowadays, is something that they connect with, something that they can see a piece of themselves in. And so that's what I try to do. And yeah, that's all I got, I think.
Yeah, that's awesome. For everybody watching at home, it looks like Luis has given us a close-up. We're going to talk to him after after Ryan sings his next song. So that's a little teaser for y'all to stay on through this next song.
Right, and really quick, Ryan, can you share your social media handles for your music?
Yeah, so Instagram is @littleking.music. Also, you can go on Facebook, it's just Little King. So if you look up Little King, you can go to littlekingmusic.com if you want to learn more. There's a merch store on there. We've got some shirts and some mugs and random things that I've collaborated with some friends on. And that has the links to all the social media handles, and as well as kind of a background behind the first album. And it'll soon be being updated because I'm working on 2 singles to be released in a couple months. Just started on that process this week. Actually, I'm really excited. Some new things are coming, and then I'm also writing for a second album to come later this year, ideally if everything works out. So yeah.
That's awesome. Who does your album art?
So the guy who did the album art for the first record, his name is Alexander Weston. He's a good friend of mine. He used to be based in the Dallas area. I believe now he lives in Austin. But yeah, he's so talented.
That's really cool.
Yeah, he's incredible. I brought him all these ideas, and they were kind of very broad, you know, a broad sense of what I was wanting to see visually through the album. And he like narrowed in and zeroed in on like actually like accomplishing it, you know. And I absolutely love like everything that he did visually. He brought the album to life in a way that I couldn't have even dreamed possible. So I love that.
Yeah, I think it's gorgeous. Well, are you ready for your second song?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do it. This next song is called Dear Future Me. It's absolutely, I think, the most popular Little King song. Actually, I think a day or two ago, it just passed 250,000 streams on Spotify alone. So I'm super thankful for that. And for anybody watching, if you've even taken a couple of minutes out of your day to listen to one of my songs, I just want to say thank you so much. It means the world to me. And I hope you like them. I hope you enjoy and stick around, because I'm working on some new stuff and I'm really excited about it. But yeah, without further ado, this is a song called Dear Future Me. Hope you enjoy it. Future me, if I can tell you just one thing. Settle down tonight when you can't fall asleep. I would say when you turn off your light, you just start to hold on tight. In the end, you're gonna be alright. Calm down, you're gonna be just fine. 'Cause life won't just be daisies and roses. You can't control this. The questions that you have won't go away. Just remember the future is brighter than you were. Future me, you don't chase your dreams. Oh, future me, you live and make believe. The future me, if I can tell you one more thing. Settle down with someone you could never leave, never leave. When you settle, don't just settle for some momentary fling. 'Cause your heart is worth much more than girls and what they think. One day you'll find yourself a queen, and you'll buy her daisies and roses and sail in the ocean. You put all those old fairy tales to shame. And all of your pain and your every past heartache will pale and compare to what you found. Oh, future me, you'll turn your world around. Oh, yeah. I can tell you one last thing. Take me with you, don't forget me in between. I wanna see your next adventure. I wanna be your time machine. Take you back to times that weren't the best for you and me. And you will see that you're alright. That life's a thrill, you put up your fight. And I'll bring you through when your wounds start to bleed. life won't just be daisies, roses. You can't control this. The questions that you have won't go away. Just remember, the future is brighter than you were. Future me, gonna chase your dream. Future me, got some tricks to up your sleeves. Future me, you live in make believe. There you have it.
I love it. I'm so glad that you said that that's the most popular Little King song, because that's my favorite Little King song.
I
Oh,
can see
man,
why
thank
it's so
you.
popular too.
Well, yeah, when you released that song, I downloaded it, or however I got it, I don't remember. But I listened to it. I was like, I can't believe like this is somebody that I know, from before they were doing this. It's incredible. It's a really, really, really great song. And I'm glad that
Thank you so
I was
much.
hoping that
It's
that
crazy.
you
I wrote that song in 2015 when I was a senior in high school, and I just released I released it in, I guess, 4 years later. It's just wild, the story, the paths that these stories can take. So I'm really very thankful for it, and thankful for everybody who enjoys it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, let's get a little meta here, though. So you wrote that song when you were a senior in high school
Yeah.
I mean, basically it's a message to your future self, right?
Yeah.
How have those words changed in meaning for you as you've grown? Are they still relevant to you as something that you would tell your future self now? Or were you able to take solace in those words in other parts of your life?
Absolutely. I think that it's definitely changed for me in a way, because I've heard so many hundreds of people sing the song live with me, and so to hear them sing the words it's taken on new meaning, because now that song is theirs, and like the joy and the peace that it gave to me when I was just a senior in high school, worried about the future, like that story is my own, but like all of them are going through different things, and they're facing different things in their own lives and in their own journey. And so yeah, the words just took on a whole new meaning for me, because I realized as I'm releasing these songs and releasing these stories, it's not just mine anymore. Like these are songs for everybody else now. And it's absolutely something I still take such peace and joy in hearing those words, because it's such a hopeful message, and I'll always be thankful for that. Always be thankful for that message. So yeah.
So if you had to write the future you a message from right now, what would you say?
Oh man.
Buy stock in Zoom.
Buy stock in Zoom. They are killing it right now. Absolutely.
That's what I would say. But
yeah.
Or that's past me. Wait, never mind. That's past me. That needs
past
to
me. Yeah. Gosh, what I would tell future me is, stay hopeful. Even in your darkest days, like there's still light moving in on those darkest days. There's still good working for you, and it doesn't matter how far away you run from the things that you're supposed to be doing, but you can always turn around. You can always there's no time that's like it's too late to turn back and to pursue different things. I would just say to have hope and choose to look on the brighter side of things, even when things look dark.
Awesome. That's a great message.
Man, thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for putting this on and hosting this. I appreciate it very much.
It's our pleasure, and thank you very, very much for participating and giving us your time and your talent. We
Absolutely.
really appreciate it, and we really enjoyed it. It was really great.
Thanks so much, guys. Thank you.
Yeah,
All right.
Loved sharing the evening with you. Take care, Ryan.
Stay safe.
You guys too. Absolutely.
All right, y'all. Well, we have one more musician, Nash, who's going to be joining us in a minute. But first, we want to talk to Luis, because he is completed with this masterpiece that he did in just like an hour, which I'm blown away by.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Thank y'all.
Tell us what your plan was going in, and tell us what we're looking at.
Right. So I was shooting for a painting under an hour, so I think I hit that pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And the plan was to do a sunset. I've really enjoyed painting sunsets, I think, since the beginning that I started doing spray paints. This one is similar to one that I did for, I guess let me back up. There's a project on campus here at A&M. It's called Build. They take shipping containers and they convert them into medical clinics. And I've been involved with them the last few years. Usually I get to paint a mural in one of their shipping containers. This year I was asked to paint one for the late George Bush and his family. And so this one was inspired by a line he said. It was referring to 1,000 points of lives and how our communities are those points of life or light across our country. And so we have this really cool background of a sunset kind of changing colors, kind of going through time. And the original one, and like this one, it captures some different things in the silhouettes from some elements of West Texas to, kind of the big cities. And over on the right side, on that end, a little bit of the A&M campus. As we know, George Bush had a special relationship with the A&M campus. And so I thought that was a really cool piece to add. And then over here on the top left, our Texas Terry logo. So just kind of a combination of a variety of different things. And it was a lot of fun to paint. So thank you for the opportunity.
That's great. So what does it mean to you to have your art in those portable clinics, knowing that that it probably is going to lighten the day of somebody who's working really hard to take care of others, or potentially even, a patient who's sitting in that mobile clinic?
I think it's such a cool project that they get to do, and to bring art into those shipping containers to make those medical clinics more lively. I think that's awesome. The ones that I've painted have been A&M related, and this one, like I said, with the George Bush family especially, was just a really cool feature there to have. And I know, I think this year they've actually been used for some of the COVID clinics across the state. So it's really interesting to see how well they're using those resources to serve the communities, whether it's locally here or across the world. And it's been just an awesome feeling to be a part of that.
That's really cool. Yeah, that's amazing. That, I mean, even in this like crazy time of this global pandemic that's affecting so many people, that again, it's that like basic human need for art and human connection. Mm-hmm. And that's what I love about stuff like that. And that's what I love about just like that's what you did tonight, and sharing this with everybody. It definitely brightens up people's lives for sure.
Yeah, loved watching your process too.
Yeah, it was really cool. And we were, I don't know if you could hear us when you had the mask on. We were like trying to figure out what you were doing, and yeah, it was really fun to watch this develop and take shape. And we really appreciate you doing it tonight.
Well, of course, and it's always fun. I usually start with the basic outline. Of course, this one's a little smaller than some of the larger ones I've painted, but the first couple minutes, or depending on how big it is, you kind of just see a little bit of it, and then until you add the color and really bring it to life, then you kind of find out what's really in the mural. So, mm-hmm.
So we have a spotlight on our website that we did on Luis a couple of years ago at this point, where he did a time lapse for us. So you can see another one has time lapses there, but where else can people see your art?
Well, right now, there's not a lot of it out there. Like I said, most of it was at the graffiti park, and that's a place that's constantly changing. So it's been closed as of, I believe, last year. They're looking to open up a new one, so hopefully I'll get to do more art over there. And we did mention there was one in College Station. They've actually painted over that one right now. So my art is very limited, but that's okay. I think that's part of the graffiti or the mural culture in a way. It just kind of comes with the territory. But that just means that I have an opportunity to hopefully get to create more paintings and murals down the line.
It's really cool how it's almost like a life cycle of art in that world. I love that.
Especially choosing to do something that has this impermanence to it, knowing that somebody's going to come and paint over something that you poured yourself into. Right. It's a fascinating choice. It's really cool. Well, if you have any stills of some of the other work you've done, feel free to share those on Terry Connect, or post them to tag the foundation in your social media, and we'll make sure that we share them so people can see some of the other awesome stuff you've done.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it.
Thanks again for doing this tonight and taking the time and the materials to do it. We really appreciate it. And again, stay safe. Thanks for everything that you're doing in the healthcare world, and hopefully we'll get to see more of your art soon.
I appreciate that so much. Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much. Right, and thank you for your service on an interview panel earlier as well.
That was a lot of fun. I'd love to do it next time.
All right. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Well, you guys are in for a real treat as we start to close out the evening. We thank everybody who's spent some time with us or is going to be spending some time with us after this live stream is over. But we want to bring Nash on if he's available. He should be there. There he is.
Hey.
Nash.
Yeah.
We can see you. We can hear you.
All right, perfect. How y'all doing?
We're doing great. We're excited to for you to perform for us. Kind of just give us an idea of your journey to music and how you. I mean, you do a lot of jazz and a lot of like you were saying, piano bar style stuff. So I'm interested to see how that came about.
It was a long, winding road. I'll tell you what. I, like so many musicians, just started. I mean, in the primal form of just making music as a small child, just whatever music was around, that's just what we did. But like a lot of musicians, I grew up playing some music in church and singing stuff like that. And then I kind of graduated into playing songs I heard on the radio or oldie songs I loved. And I have a twin brother, and I credit him for all of my advancements that I've made, because we've been in this track and kind of competing against each other, have the sibling rivalry, but we've made music together my whole life. And we would do songs that we heard on the radio, do songs like oldie stuff. Then we eventually got into jazz, which I fell in love with senior year in high school. I started figuring out there's these more advanced harmonies, there's these swinging rhythms, there's so much more to music than what I was hearing on pop radio. And I love pop music, I'm not disparaging pop music, but I love hearing some more of this complex stuff that goes on underneath too. And I mean, musicians like Henry that we just listened to will testify to that type of stuff. I mean, he's the real deal. I mean, I like to say that I like jazz, but if you want to talk about who can play jazz, that man can swing. I mean, he's killer. But yeah, it's been a long and winding road. It's led me to, I want to do music that connects me to people. And I think that's like the foundation of where music's true power is how it connects us all. And there's a lot of different ways to do that.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the theme of the night, I think, is connection and community through art and specifically music too. So I'm excited to hear you play.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm excited.
So I have a story about Nash and his brother, actually. This is the first time I'm meeting you, but when I first started working at the foundation, I'm not a Terry scholar. I have a couple of friends who are, but I hadn't even heard of it until applying for the job. And one of the scholar relations coordinators, Holly Van Houten, actually said, like, there's this YouTube video that I think you need to see that really encapsulates like how this can change people's lives. And I was like, okay, sure. Like, go ahead and show me. And this is whenever people were getting their Terry acceptance letters via snail mail. So I think there's like a little bit more buildup, and I don't know who was filming, but you guys were like in your living room and opening your letters. And of course you both lost your minds. And I remember y'all running around the living room, people running outside. I don't know. I mean, like stripping your shirts off, like losing your minds. And I just remember thinking like, oh, okay, this is the impact we're getting ready to like make on people's lives. And it really does. And now that I've been with the foundation for 5 years, obviously I'm getting a chance to see like the other side of things for people. But it was hilarious to me whenever Blane like shared the list of people he wanted to reach out to, and I was like, why is that name so familiar? And then I thought back on it, and I was like, oh, it's one of the guys from the YouTube video.
Yeah. Oh yeah, seriously, that video has lived in infamy.
It's a notorious video for specifically UNT Terry scholars, I feel like, or at least from that time, whenever Nash and Alan were in school, is just like seeing that video is just like, we all share our stories of when we open our Terry letters, or now I guess, get your email.
Yeah.
But it's really, that's a great video. I love it.
I credit my brother-in-law for filming it. We lived right next door to them, so we were over at their house, and they opened up the letter. And you're right. I mean, it was life-changing. There are very few moments in my life that have had that levity in it, or like levity, that's the right word. That's that amount of importance and that impact. Like, it really was that incredible. And I have to give a quick shout out to Holly, because you mentioned her name, and I just wanted to say how unbelievable, amazing that woman is, and how much she helped me throughout my journey. I mean, Caroline talked earlier, and I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't want to waste a lot of time, but Caroline talked earlier a lot about failure. And even me just listening to her right now, that resonated so well with me. I mean, when she said failure is literally the only way you can learn. I mean, Holly knows first and foremost the amount of failure that I experienced throughout my musical journey, throughout my college journey. I mean, I left college 3 months in. I started out as a jazz major, and I left 3 months in because I experienced that burnout, and I couldn't find the drive to do the things I need to do. So I left there, and I went and worked at a piano bar over in East Texas. Someone said they were from East Texas.
Yeah, me, and I think Luis said he was from East Texas too. So.
Yeah, so I went out there, lived out there for a while, and I got a job at a piano bar where I met his name was Danny Burge, and he was my mentor. He taught me how to use one of these electric baby grands. I got there and learned how to do the piano bar scene. So what I was getting at is that was the route that took me back to Holly, where I reached out to Holly and said, Holly, like, I want to know if I can come back. And this is my testament towards how amazing and important the Terry Scholars are, because they took me back and gave me my scholarship back after coming back to college, after I'd already left. And like, I for whatever reasons, basically, she was there for me when I needed her, and she allowed me to come back to college and finish out my journey. And now I have two bachelor degrees from UNT, thanks to the Terry Scholars. And just the sentiment that I expressed on that video where we ripped our pants off. I mean, that honestly that scratches the surface. It really does.
Well, and congratulations on your achievements. I think that that's a testament to what Mr. Terry said about, what success really looks like. It's attaining your goals. It doesn't mean getting it on the first try. It doesn't mean even sticking to a particular timeline or following a certain formula, because that looks different for everybody. So you're still able to say that you're a success, even if your path doesn't look the way that you thought it would whenever that video first came out even. But since we're doing Holly shout outs just really quick, wanted to congratulate her, because during the time that I've been working with her, she's been working on the side on her master's degree. And she finished her coursework for that during all of this, like while we were in the middle of doing virtual interviews for almost 500 students across the state. So congrats to Holly. She's got her Master of Science now in higher education.
With the 4.0 too.
With the 4.0 on top of everything else. Yeah, so go Holly.
Yeah, congrats to her. And she definitely holds a special place in the hearts of many UNT Terry Scholars.
Yeah.
All right, we ready for some music?
Absolutely, yeah.
I am.
Let's do it.
All right, we'll let you get to it.
All right, so I just like when I gig at a restaurant in Fort Worth and in Arlington. It's called the Mercury Chop House, and I'll get a quick shameless plug and a shout out to any like Terry Scholars, or really anybody that's listening, but specifically as Terry Outreach, if there's anybody that's like any musicians that want to come and sing a song, like I'm there 5 nights a week, and well, when it opens back up, I'll be there 5 nights a week, and I want you to come here and just say, hey, I want to sing this song, like let's do the song together. And you are more than welcome to come up there and sing a song. Sing a whole set. Let's make my job easier. Anyway, feel free to reach out. And this song is it's called Happy Heart. It's an Andy Williams song, and I'll introduce it this way. I love taking requests. That's like my favorite thing to do. It helps me interact with the crowd, and I love hearing them really like a song, and then they tell me what it is, and I look it up on my iPad through this Dropbox account that I have, and it's just a fantastic way to connect to people. Well, an old teacher of mine, actually librarian from my elementary middle school, texted me a few days ago and said, hey, like, I really like this song, like you should give it a listen. And I listened to it and fell in love with it. And I want to dedicate this song to her. She's going through a unimaginable experience of loss and pain right now with her family due to some COVID-19 problems. And I can only imagine how this song, the words are, "It's my happy heart you hear, singing loud and singing clear, and it's all because you're near me, my love." And I mean, it's a classic love song, but it helps me think of the relationship between her sister and brother-in-law, which I know they wish to be sharing right now. So I want to dedicate this to them. There's a certain sound always follows me around when you're close to me. You will hear it. It's the sound of lovers here when they discover there can be no other for their love. It's my happy heart you hear, singing loud and singing clear, and it's all because you're near me, my love. And take my happy heart away, let me love you night and day. In your arms I want to stay, my love. Feeling more and more like I've never felt before. You have changed my life so completely. Music fills my soul now. I've lost all control now. I'll have my home now in your love. It's my happy heart you hear, singing loud and singing clear, and it's all because you're near, my love. Take my happy heart away, let me love you night and day. Let me love you, I want to stay, my love. La, 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 la,
That was incredible, and I love what you said at the beginning. And it's so crazy because there's obviously so many people that have been touched by this this pandemic and everything that we're going through right now, whether that be health wise or financially or just like emotionally and mentally, and physically. And it's so crazy that you can hear a song like that that's just such a feel good song and automatically be put in a good mood no matter what you're going through. And even just like seeing you, like your emotion and just like it was just really awesome and incredible to witness that.
Yeah, it was pouring out of you, just like you became the song. It was really cool.
You know, Caroline really hit it on the head of the nail earlier when she talked about how she grew as a musician because she used to have so much ego in it, and she used to think of like what mistakes am I making, all this stuff. When you learn to let go of all of that and you start feeling, and this is a learning process for me. I mean, when I continue to learn to let go of that and learn to feel the power of the song, power of the music, power of the connection, that's when I think true magic really happens. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about your journey too. I mean, think back to when you were at UNT and the musician that you are now. What differences are there? What growth has happened in that time?
Oh yeah. Let's see. Well, a couple things come to mind. I mean, the first one is anyone that goes through a music program at UNT's knows that it's a powerhouse. So they will, I mean, you learn a lot. Your ability to, I mean, your oral skills, oral with an A, like that, really takes off. So being able to sing all the songs that I do, being able to like get requests and learn them quickly, like that's a testament to the teachings that I had at UNT. So, I mean, just technically, like I've been slowly moving up, but I think the other thing that is probably more impactful is kind of what I was just talking about, how Caroline said, take the ego out of it. And me and my brother use this term all the time, peacocking, where you just, oh, look what I can do, look what I can do. And I remember whenever I was a kid and I would play songs, and that was it. Like, that's all I wanted. I wanted to make sure people knew, I can sing this note, I can sing it with this timbre, or I can sing it this high, or I can play this type of chord, and like that's all about me. Like, that's all I remember thinking when I was a kid. And now that I'm continuing to mature as a musician and as an adult, the priorities change. And because when the priorities change, my musical choices change. And I think that is the process that I am still on right now, learning to make musical choices that are beneficial toward the song, toward the moment, toward the meaning, toward the connection, and not just beneficial toward how I think I need to sound or how I think people need to perceive me.
Yeah, I'm so glad that we've done this tonight, because I have just like learned so much. I've just been reminded of so many things that I think I'd forgotten since all of this started, since, we've been stuck at home and just not around other people. I think that any Terry scholar could attest to, like, when you're around other Terry scholars or just people from the foundation, there's just like this feeling that you get. And that's how I feel, even though we're all, all over the place, coming from different states and everything tonight, is just that reminder of who we once were, who we are now, that process, but also that, like, we aren't yet like are fully ourselves, and unless we're really embracing the imperfection and embracing the craziness. And that's a good reminder, I think, because I've been really almost like whiny about this whole like working from home thing and not being able to like see my coworkers and the communication barriers. And it's just like really, really a great reminder. So, and I thank you and Ryan and Caroline and Luis for reminding us of all of that.
I think the thing I've loved about getting the messages we've gotten from y'all as musicians is because of the amount of vulnerability that it requires. Even just to admit some of those struggles or some of those mistakes or having some of those thoughts about ego in the first place, because those are very relatable beyond just people that choose to perform. But I think that those who put themselves out there in front of other people and are inviting other people to make a part of them, a part of themselves, just are uniquely tuned to accepting those lessons and then figuring out how to share those. So I'm just, echoing Blane's sentiments. I'm so glad we were able to do this, because I do think that the larger messages and the larger lessons go far beyond just, the performances, which have all been stellar, by the way. So.
Haven't they been incredible though?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
And I'm excited for the last one.
Yeah. I gotta say that I teach some private lessons also at a studio on the side, and whenever I have a kid that says that's scared of making mistakes, or they say, oh, that didn't sound exactly right, I always tell them, there's one line I like to say. I say, if we wanted to be perfect, we would have gotten a computer to do it. Like that's why we don't want perfect. Perfect is so boring. Like imperfection is what we want. That's what humans are known for, and that's what we want. So embrace the imperfection, embrace the mistake. Yeah.
All right. That's again, just a great message. So we're excited to hear the last song of the evening.
Yeah.
Take it away.
Thank you. I was racking my brain about what song I wanted to do, and I was even texting Caroline just a couple hours, like, what do I want to do? And I'm not doing the song you wanted me to do, Caroline. I know I could have probably worked it up, but I didn't do it. I know. We'll get together and we'll do that song later. But I decided to do a ballad. This one has been, I just learned this one before the quarantine, or I'd heard it before, but I just started working it up. And just probably my favorite ballad, I think. It's Johnny Mercer and Hoagie Carmichael, which is a dynamic duo. It's entitled Skylark. I gotta change my settings on here. 1 second. There we go. Skylark, have you anything to say to me? Won't you tell me where my love can be? Is there a meadow in the mist where someone's waiting to be kissed? Skylark, have you seen a valley green with spring? My heart can go the journey over the shadows and the rain to a blossom covered lane. In your lonely flight, haven't you heard the music in the night? Wonderful music, faint as the will of the west, crazy as a loon, sad as a gypsy serenading the moon. Skylark, I don't know if you can find these things. My heart is riding on your wings. So if you see them anywhere, won't you leave me there? My heart is riding on your wings. So if you see them anywhere, won't you leave me there?
What a great song. That was incredible.
Thank you.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
Song, isn't it?
It was really beautiful. And that song really, you were able to show off, not that you were intentionally doing it, you weren't peacocking or anything, but it really showed.
I probably was a little bit.
It showed off your piano skills. And I know you mentioned earlier that you're playing, is it an electric baby grand? I know nothing about piano. I wanted for you to talk a little bit about that, and like the instrument that you're playing and the differences in that and other, types of piano or
Yeah. So I like to play on I play at work, it's on a digital baby grand. This is just a digital keyboard, but what I like to do is, I like the full sound. There are gigs I do that are just bare piano, which is nice. It's a different setting, but I like to be able to split the piano about right here, and then, well, let me do it right there. Whenever I don't have Henry be able to play for me, I can put left-hand bass down here, and I can play chords up here, and then if it's a good enough keyboard, it has some pretty good jazz drum patterns with some variations and stuff. So it kind of sounds like a little one-man band. I don't replace real musicians, but I think it adds just a little bit of spice to it sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. It was
It's a great effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Nash, that was beautiful. Both of the songs are beautiful. I could listen to you. I could listen to any of the musicians that have performed tonight, like all night long. I wish we could keep going. And I know we've even gone over the plan time, which was inevitable. And I could watch Luis paint all night long. It's just, y'all are incredible. And just like everyone else, I just really thank you for participating tonight, taking the time, sticking with us a little late into the night, and sharing your talent with us.
Well, I thank you for thinking of me. Thank you for putting this whole thing together. This was a much needed reprieve. No idea. This was amazing. Y'all really pulled it together. This was incredible.
Well, thank you so much for bringing your passion and your positive energy, just overall. I mean, it comes through when you perform, but it also really comes through even when you're just talking about it or when you're giving your intro to everything. I mean, you can tell that you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. So it's been a joy to watch.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, stay safe out there, Nash. Have a good night. Best of luck to you. And thanks again for being here.
Yes. Thank you so much. Take care.
Absolutely. Thank y'all.
I know I've said it to everybody, but on behalf of the Alumni Advisory Board, I definitely want to thank all of the artists, Luis, Caroline, Ryan, and Nash that participated tonight. This was really, honestly great. I mean, I have really, really enjoyed this. This is exactly what I needed. And I hope that all of you who are watching live or watching later got as much out of this as I did. I mean, like I said earlier, my heart is just really full now after spending some time with fellow Terry scholars and just hearing this amazing art that they shared with us tonight.
I think any opportunity I have to be around Terry scholars, it's always just like, it helps refill the tank. And so one of the plus sides of doing these streams and having the conversations with you guys is just, it's just a reminder how amazing this community is overall. And the thing that I love about it is there are people doing literally everything along the entire spectrum, from musicians and artists to doctors and engineers and people that combine all of these things together, and what makes them unique. And Blane, I have to say, I really loved watching you in your element too. It's
asking questions, and I will say that I'm a producer for a reason. I'm usually behind the camera asking questions. So this was a little bit different for me, but yeah, this was a ton of fun.
was gonna say, I mean, this is like, it's definitely a challenge for me. I don't like pictures of myself. I don't like video of myself. And so being able to sort of stretch all of that and kind of push myself too hasn't been as big of a challenge as I thought it would be, because I honestly love getting to learn more and more about you guys. Every time I interact with you, I always come away with it, with this feeling of just, I mean, I'm always so impressed and always so hopeful for the things I know that you're all out there doing in the world. I mean, you as a producer and as a storyteller have put together some amazing pieces at work. I've loved the
Thank you.
documentaries, the very important documentaries that you've been able to do through your job.
Thank you.
And it's always great to see people in their element. And so I loved watching them perform, but I really loved watching you interview them too.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I have the best job, and I love what I do. Just to give a little bit of a plug, since everybody got to share a little bit about what they're doing. So I'm actually working on this new project for NBC called NBC LX. We're launching a whole new network that's targeted to Gen Z and millennials. So a lot of Terry scholars fit in that audience, and I think that they would get a lot out of the stories that we're telling and the journalism that we're doing. So we're launching on air a whole broadcast network next month, but we're really excited to have a lot of content on YouTube right now during this crazy time of being virtual and all working from home. So you can find the NBCLX YouTube page or Facebook page and see a lot of the work that we're doing there. It's really exciting stuff.
That's awesome. We can't wait to see some of the things you're able to contribute to. Well, I know that we've definitely gone over, but we talked about, like, we're just going to try this first one out and see how it goes. And I wouldn't have cut a single second from it.
Nope.
So
it was so great. It was all so great.
And please thank Sarah and Margot for us for taking you away from them for an evening.
Yeah, I hope you didn't ever hear them in the background.
I mean, even if we did, it would have been fine. I'm always secretly hoping that, like, people's kids or people's dogs or somebody will come in, just because like they're part of this experience too. And you know, we love your families just as much as we love you guys. So I'd actually just like to sort of close out our stream. First of all, again, thanking everybody from this evening and everyone else who's participated in a stream this week. This was our first, you know, dive into doing anything like this as the foundation. And our hope is that we're establishing a pattern that we can follow even after, you know, the pandemic things calm down, because again, this is such a rich network and it's full of so many amazing people. And we as the foundation would be doing a disservice to the community if we weren't continuing to provide the opportunity for you guys to connect with each other and learn about each other. And just, we're fortunate to be in a time right now where geography doesn't have to be an issue. So if you're interested in participating in a stream like this one, where it's the talent show, or if you want to share your profession, share advice with other alumni or other students, we do have a virtual content group on Terry Connect. Definitely encourage you to join and post your ideas there. But I actually wanted to close out tonight with this great quote that one of our graduating Terry seniors from Texas Women's University shared. We were invited to their senior night that they did on Zoom so that they could all still share their senior speeches. So this is from Mallory, and she said, we may not have much, but we can always have gratitude. And I think that's never more evident than when you're talking to a Terry scholar. Just, I think that, you know, gratitude just seeps out of you because you all have what it takes to be so successful and make this impact on the world, and everybody just needed that opportunity. And so I guess, you know, one thing that I would love to add to that quote is, you know, one thing that we'll always also have is hope. And I hope that being part of this community gives you that in some way, shape, or form. I know everybody's going through some really difficult things right now, and you know, everyone's got a different situation that they're dealing with. Just know that this community is here for you, and we do support you. And even though it is very easy to feel disconnected, there are ways that you can reach out. There are ways that you can stay in touch. And we care about you, and we want you to be as safe and as happy as possible. And just remember, if you're a graduating senior, you know, or anybody who's had this, you know, this interruption to something huge you were anticipating, no matter what you do, no matter where you go, just rest assured that when you finally do get there, you have this whole community standing at your back, behind you, cheering for you, supporting you. And it's something so special. And so I'm just appreciative every day that I get to be a part of it and see how amazing that you guys are. And it's just, y'all don't even have to try. It's part of being a Terry Scholar. So again, I enjoyed myself this evening. Blane, you were amazing. Everybody that performed was amazing.
And Amber, thank you for handling the back end of everything and getting all of this set up and the technology and everything you do to support the Alumni Advisory Board. And that goes for all of the staff at the foundation. I mean, I think every Terry Scholar takes every opportunity that we can to thank y'all for everything that y'all do for the current scholars and for the alumni. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like work. And I think one of the great things about being part of that team is just how completely invested everyone is. And I've never been more reminded of that than when we go through the interview cycle. And I mean, you sat on a panel, you know what it's like as a panelist, both sitting in the room and now not sitting in the room with the student and having to, you know, doing it over Zoom, but just remembering that providing this opportunity and keeping this community going for everyone else is what gets all of us out of bed every day. So we're all just so honored and privileged that we get to be a part of all of your journeys and watch them unfold.
Great.
All right, so one final plug. Our next stream that we have scheduled is on Tuesday the 28th. It's at 4 p.m. We're going to have some Terry student officers and a couple of alumni talk about building community and, you know, developing as a leader and continuing to balance things as a leader during this pandemic and beyond. So we've got the information on Facebook. We'll make sure we put it on Terry Connect, everywhere else. But that will be Tuesday at 4 p.m., same place here on the Foundation's Facebook page. Blane, again, thank you so much. Please tell Margot and Sarah hello for us.
I will.
And y'all have an amazing evening. Luis, thank you so much for sticking around too. And thanks again for your wonderful painting. It was such a joy to watch you work.
Of course. Thank y'all so much.
All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and end the stream for the evening. Everyone take care, be safe.